Well, we have a new bike law in Pennsylvania, and yet the accidents continue. Here in Pittsburgh yesterday morning out in Point Breeze, a man was killed by a vehicle. The man, a 46-year-old father, was riding his bicycle for exercise about 4 o'clock in the morning, was struck in a hit-and-run incident, according to authorities. He died a short while after the incident, died in the hospital. And a lot of people know that I'm an avid bicyclist. I ride my bike into work in the morning and go back on my bike in the afternoon, except this morning with the thunderstorms out there. Took the bus in this morning. But anyway, and I had an accident a year ago. Someone ran me down. Fortunately, it wasn't serious. But Edgar Snyder's on the live line with us now of Edgar Snyder and Associates. He's put out a brochure that's in bike shops now, I understand, around Pittsburgh, with a checklist of what we should be looking at if we want to be safe out on the road when we're bicycling. Edgar Snyder, good morning. Thanks a lot for talking with us.
Hi, PJ. How are you? And I'm sorry to hear you were in an accident.
Well, it's okay.
And somebody told me that it was pretty serious, but you're making light of it.
Well, I broke a bone in my hand, you know what I mean?
Well, I think broken bones in hands can be very serious. Fortunately, it didn't hit you in the throat where you speak.
Well, that's and I don't want to make a big... I mean, here's a guy that got killed yesterday. I mean, I didn't come anything close to that, so, you know.
And let's hope it doesn't happen, but... I can tell you this, that it does happen very often that people get very serious injuries in bicycle accidents, and I ride bikes all the time, so I'm very, very tuned in to what goes on bicycles.
Yeah, there's I guess there's a little bit of a, I don't know what you would call it, a cynical attitude maybe about this new bike law among bicyclists anyway. You know, the 4-foot rule, which you'll explain to us, I hope, in
right.
just a moment. I mean, people, how do you enforce something like that, you know?
Well, let me put it to you this way, PJ. First of all, we've never had a law. Until April, there was really no designation that bicyclists had a right of the road, that there were rules on the road that actually were in your favor. Now, you might say to me, well, everybody knows that people ride bicycles and people see them. But you know what? People don't respect people on bicycles. And when I say people, I don't mean all people, but very often they ride too close. They think, what are you doing on the road? You're kind of in my space. And really what this law says is bicyclists have a right to the road. You've got to keep 4 feet from that bicyclist on the right side of your automobile, and that you can't just pull real close so that one false move and the bicyclist gets hit by an automobile or a bus or anything else. I think this new law is very important, not for its penalties. The penalties are rather small, okay? It's what we call a summary offense. But now, at least nobody can say, what was he doing on the road? What was she doing on the road? They were driving too close. You have the responsibility as the motorist to stay far enough away to give that bicyclist a share of the road, is really the way they describe it.
It sounds like what you're saying is that if there is an accident and it's found that the motorist violated this new bike law, then that adds the force of law to whatever action the bicyclist wants.
Absolutely. It really says to someone, you've got to maintain that space. And if you hit somebody, very often what people have said, we've handled bicycle cases for as long as I've been practicing law, and people say, well, they were driving too far over on the road. And it doesn't say that you, as a bicyclist, have the right to drive in the center of the road, but it does say that they have a right, and you can't just get out of the way and move as close to the right as you want to. And I think this is a very, very important law, because I think what's going to happen in the future, people are becoming aware of it, and they're now going to, even if they don't respect bicyclists on the road, they're going to have to maintain their safety for the bicyclist and give them their space. And I think that I can't tell you how important I think this is. I'm tuned into it when I drive now, and I never used to be. And, you know, it's kind of like the safety belt. You know, the laws aren't, the punishment isn't great if they catch you without driving with your safety belt on. But how many lives does it save? And I think this is the same type of thing.
Yeah, I guess the more you talk about it, the more people listen to these kinds of things, the more it finally sinks in. On the other hand, you know, the people that are the most dangerous out there on the road, the bicyclists and the motorists, are the people that don't pay attention to these things, you know?
Yeah, I think it's very true. And what I have so many people that I know say, PJ, is I wish bicyclists would follow the rules too, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think that if you look at this quick safety checklist, and the bike shops are putting it in there. I can't tell you, we've gotten such favorable reviews, and this is a public service. I mean, it would be nice if people thought about us as lawyers, but it's really it's a checklist that do you have your helmet on? Have you checked your bike's brakes? Do your bike and helmet have reflective strips on them? You'd be surprised how many people that drive bikes don't do this. They don't follow the rules themselves. And just because you have a new law, it doesn't mean that you're not able to be at fault. And if you drive your bike to work every day, you got to be tuned into this all the time. You understand the psychology of the person that's the driver because you're looking out for them, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's no question about it. And every time I hear about an accident, and of course after the accident I had, I'm much more careful. I don't do things that I had done previously. Not things that were wildly outrageous, but, just you got to be really, really careful and really have eyes behind your head.
I think the thing that we all, as bicyclists, sometimes tend to not do, and you have to really be careful. If there's nobody coming, we go through the light, and I've seen it happen. I've done it myself. Okay, I'm much more tuned into the rules now that they passed this law that I have a responsibility to, and I think that it's very important. As I said to you before, we get dozens and dozens of calls, and thank God most people aren't seriously injured, although I beg to differ with you. If you got hit by, I assume that it wasn't your fault.
It wasn't, no.
Okay. Well, did you have surgery?
Yeah.
Anytime you have surgery, my friend, I can tell you we consider it to be a serious injury. It's not a matter of making money.
Are you angling to get a customer? You need a client
PJ,
here.
I've known you for quite a while. PJ, I have to be honest with you. You have to tell your own people. They told me they think you should have had a lawyer, but you could use anybody you want.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see how this.
Aside from that, and the only other thing I would really say, PJ, which I can't tell you how important it is, wear a helmet. I have had an accident, not getting hit by a car, going less than 5 miles an hour, flipped over my bike, landed on my head.
Yeah.
You should see the dent in the helmet.
Right.
If I didn't have the helmet on, all this discussions about concussions, no question in my mind. So, very important stuff, and we're happy to provide a public service on this.
Thanks a lot for talking with us. I appreciate it,
PJ,
Edgar.
good luck. Bye-bye.
Edgar Snyder on the live line with Edgar Snyder.